Product research is a crucial part of Amazon journey, and you need to make sure that you get each and every step right, because any small mistake can cost you thousands of pounds and you could be left with thousands of units stranded in your warehouse. So I have come up with top 5 mistakes that I see a lot of new beginners make when selecting product for Amazon. So let's dive into these 5 top mistakes that I think most of the beginner sellers make. The number 1 mistake I see seller make is looking for high demand and low competition product. I see a lot of YouTubers trying to teach you that look for high demand and low competition product. Just imagine what's going to happen when you launch a high demand and low competition product. Everyone's looking for exactly the same product, and what happens after a few months? The market gets flooded with exactly the same product. The only option for customer is to pick the cheapest product. Most of these products are trendy products. They get a spike in demand from platforms like TikTok and Instagram, where people are promoting these trendy products, and then a lot of people go on Amazon to look for these products. And when you're doing your research looking for these high demand and low competition products, you come across these trendy products, and their lifespan is mostly from 6 months to 3 months, and after that the demand dies, and then you're left with thousands of pounds of inventory sitting in your warehouse. The prime example of product like this is fidget spinner. They were in high demand and there was hardly any competition for them around COVID time. When everyone was putting filters when looking for a product, they were finding fidget spinners. And then what happens after a few months, the market got flooded with thousands of designs of fidget spinners, and people were left with thousands of pounds of inventory sitting in their warehouse. The customer has plenty of choice when they went on Amazon to look for fidget spinners. So don't make this mistake, and instead of looking for high demand and low competition, I would advise you look for medium to high demand products with medium to high demand competition. Look in niches, they are mature and the products they've been selling for years and years instead of a trendy product. Mistake number 2 is FBA Dimension Fees. So Amazon has recently changed the way they charge you FBA fees. So what's FBA fees? Is the fee Amazon charge you to pick, pack and ship your product to the customer. And this fee depends on the size and dimension and weight of your product. And previously Amazon just used to charge you by the size and the weight they have assigned for each unit. And if you fall under that size and under that weight, you will be charged certain fees. Amazon has recently changed the way they charge you FBA fees. They charge you by something called dimension weight. And how dimension weight works is, so you take your 3 dimensions of your product. So you take your length, times that by your width, times that by your height, and then divide that by 5,000. And that gives you your dimensional weight instead of your actual product weight. Whichever is the higher, Amazon will charge you that. So if you look at Amazon rate card, and you can see the small parcel, the maximum size is 35 by 25 by 12. And if they fall under these weight, the Amazon should charge you these prices they've mentioned here. Let's say your product is 30 by 25 by 12 and it's 400 grams. Amazon should charge you £2.95. But if you work it out that your product is 30 by 25 by 12 and you divide that by 5,000, your dimensional weight is actually 1.8. So that's 1.8 kilograms. Instead of you're thinking that Amazon will charge you £2.95, Amazon will actually charge you £3.51. And just take another example, that if your product dimensions are 32, just 2 centimeters more than before, times 25 by 12, and then if you divide them by 5,000, your dimension weight goes up to 1.92 kilograms, and that pushes you to this tier, which is now £5.51. So it doesn't matter if your box weight was 300 grams or 400 grams. If your dimensional weight is higher, Amazon will charge you a higher fees. So this is one of the mistakes I see a lot of sellers make, that they don't actually look at dimensional weight. They just look at the weight of the box and the weights mentioned here, and then they think they will be charged $2.95 or let's say $2.99. But actually when they launch the product, the FBA fees is actually £5.51. So that's a big chunk of their profit gone here, because that's an extra £2 to £3 Amazon will now be charging you per unit. If you go 500 units or 1,000 units, that's quite a lot of money you could be losing out. If you have done initial research and worked out that your profit margin was 40%, this could bring your profit margin down to 20% or could 10% or could be pushing you in a loss. So this is really important. You need to make sure that you work out the dimensional weight of your product. Now let's look at mistake number 3. So this is another new feature Amazon has launched. Is before you used to list a product, and then after a few months or a few weeks, Amazon will ask you for a certification of the particular product. And this could cause a lot of problems because a lot of people don't know what kind of compliance they actually need for a product. So recently Amazon has launched a new dashboard. It's called Compliance Dashboard. So if you want to access that, if you go in your Seller Central, and then if you go in Add a Product, and you'll see at the bottom of Add a Product, it says Compliance References and Compliance Self-Assessment. If you click on that, here's a list of all the top products Amazon thinks that it requires a lot of certification. And if your product lands in one of these categories, you can select. If your product is not mentioned here, you can type a keyword here. So let's look at an example. Let's think your product is automotive, and it's a power, sport, and marine. It's mopeds and e-cycles. So when you click here, this option will appear, and if you go view help content, you'll see that Amazon is now saying that if you are selling these products, you need a CE mark. You need all of the following as applicable, and these are the requirements. These are the documents. This is how you have to submit to Amazon. And here at the bottom, Amazon is telling you the providers that you could use to get these certification and all these tests. Make sure you check these compliance and then take your research further on that product. If you think that you can't meet these requirements, then I would advise you to look for another product. So I highly recommend you check out this dashboard before you take your product into further analysis. Let's say if your product is not mentioned here, so let's say you're launching a hair brush. So if you type here, and then you'll see that it doesn't pick up any hairbrushes coming up as hair dryers, hair iron, and others. So that means the hairbrush doesn't really need any certification. So that shows you that you're good to go and you don't need any certification for a hairbrush. Fourth mistake I see people make, they don't check their products for patents. So patent is extremely important to check before you think that you are going to launch that product. You can use patent check services on websites like Fiverr and Upwork, and you can get them checked as cheap as 50 to 100 pounds. And this 50 to 100 pounds can save you thousands of pounds, because if you launch a product and later on you find out it's got a patent and then someone can send you a violation, Amazon will shut you down instantly. You can lose thousands of pounds of inventory, and you'll have to recall all that inventory and probably have to sell it on another platform or get it liquidated, or you have to destroy all that inventory. Now it brings us to our final and last mistake, is called differentiation. So make sure that you don't just launch another variation of that product on Amazon. So let's say people are selling thousands of type of that same product, and you just go on Alibaba and find exactly the same product and launch it and spend thousands of pounds of PPC and then sit next to that bestseller. And customer has no option apart from looking for whoever is the cheapest. So instead of just launching the same product at a cheaper price, read the reviews of the listing, spend lots of time researching in the product and find out what actually customer want, and develop a product with that solution that customer are looking for and show that in your listing. And this is where customer will pay you more than even your top competitor, because you are solving their problem. So work on the differentiation instead of just launching exactly the same product and try to beat competitor on price, because that's not a long-term way to make money on Amazon. So I hope these 5 mistakes will help you in your product research stage. If you are looking for products right now, one of the best software you can use is Helium. There is a link under the description. Click on it and it'll take you to that special link where you can get 35% off of Helium. It ends on 31st of October this month. If you are interested to find out how much does it actually cost to start an Amazon business in 2024, go and watch this video. And if you are interested to learn more about how VAT works, go and watch this video. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.